Hey, what's going on everyone? Back with another Puzzle Quest video here with some new cards from the Dragonstorm set. The Tarkir Dragonstorm set that just released yesterday, so I'm already trying out a bunch of new cards. And one of the ones that definitely stood out to me was Lasyd Prowler. Just on its own, it's a good card. So it's 23 mana to cast, but we're not actually going to be doing it that much in this deck. Creature, Snake Ranger. When this creature enters the battlefield, destroy the top X cards of your library. X is the number of green gems on the board. So we could use it for that, but we're using it for the Restore 2. Restore 2, your first creature gets +Y/+Y. Y is the number of cards in your graveyard. So no limit there. And it gets insane really quickly because we have so many cards in here. Just about every one of them destroys our library in some way. So we got Fanatic of Ronus, who's a PM2 card. Snake Druid. When this creature enters the battlefield, destroy the top 8 cards from your library. This creature is exiled or dies. If 2 or more cards named Fanatic of Ronus are in your graveyard, return to the battlefield and reinforce it X times and exile all cards named Fanatic of Ronus from your graveyard. X is the number of cards exiled this way. So basically, when you bring a Fanatic of Ronus back into play, it reinforces it and then gets rid of all the other copies of Fanatic of Ronus in your graveyard. But we're really just using it because it's a pretty good amount of library destruction happening there. 8 cards per ETB is pretty good. Another key part of this deck here is going to be this also new card, Yathan Roadwatcher, Human Scout. 13 mana 3/3. When this creature enters the battlefield, destroy the top 4 cards of your library. Then return the first creature card with base mana cost 11 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is key because we're going to be basically bringing this creature back into play, or whenever this creature comes into play, we're going to try and be bringing back one of our creatures, Fanatic of Ronus. This guy, Rainveil Rejuvenator, is not one that we'll be grabbing, but we will be grabbing our Blossoming Tortoise. And when the Blossoming Tortoise enters the battlefield, it also destroys the top 4 cards of your library. Then it returns the first land support from your graveyard to play under your control. This synergizes with Colony Garden and 6. When a land support enters the board under your control, seed 2 gems, then destroy the top 3 cards of your library. So we're going to be destroying our library that way too. When you trigger Leyline, return the first non-land creature from the graveyard to play under your control, then reinforce it X times, X the amount of seed gems on the board. So this is also going to be another way to bring some of our other creatures that destroy our library on ETB, such as the Rainveil Rejuvenator. When this creature enters the battlefield, destroy the top 3 cards of your library. But it's also got a pretty cool activate too. Gain X mana. X is this creature's power times 2. And if this creature just happens to end up being in the bottom slot, it's a great way to pump it up so that the buffs you get from the Lasyd Prowler can convert to mana gains later on. It doesn't happen too often, but it does work all right. So the reason we have 6 creatures in this deck is because we're just going to be cycling through them all. You're really only going to want to have Rainveil Rejuvenator and or 6 in the active slot most of the time permanently. We could also even use the Colony Garden and the tokens we're going to be creating from Chalk Outline in here as well. But the whole point is that we're going to be switching between Fanatic of Ronus, Yathan Roadwatcher, and Blossoming Tortoise as we go. So we need our other slots filled with creatures so that we can keep swapping them out. And when you swap a creature out, the original creature that was on the battlefield will go to your graveyard. So that's another way of pumping up your graveyard. Chalk Outline is good removal here because when this support enters the board, destroy an opposing card at random, and then at the beginning of combat on your turn, create X detective tokens. X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. So we're going to have tons of creatures in our graveyard. So our stack of detectives is going to be in the hundreds most of the time. You won't even really need it because you're going to be pumping up your 6 so much that you probably won't be attacking with it, but it is a good way to get rid of some threats on your opponent's side in case you need to. Temple Discovery, you know what that does. It just converts gems for you. You actually won't need it as much as you think you will because everything else just gets going on its own, but it's a good enabler for other cards if you are behind or whatever. And then Hedge Shredder is not a card I've used that much. Support card, artifact vehicle. When this support enters the board, your first creature gets +5/+5. Okay. When your first creature attacks, destroy the top 2 cards of your library. Then, if a land, beast, or human entered your graveyard this turn, put that card into play under your control. So basically, I think the way this is working is that it's bringing back every instance of that and bringing it into play. So the human creature is the Yathan Road Watcher. So I believe it's bringing back every copy of that guy back into play. Yeah, when my first creature attacks. Because we're doing that, we're just going to be bringing our Yathan Road Watcher into play, and then that's going to also bring back one of our other creatures into play, Fanatic of Ronus or Blossoming Tortoise. And I believe you'll see that when I test this deck out. So it's a lot of explanation. It's such a weird deck. It should not work, but it's working in a very strange way. It's a deck that I never thought that I would try and build, but it's actually pretty viable. I don't know where you would use this as far as events go, but it's really fun, and I want to show you how it works because it's so strange, and I just really wanted to get this out there for you guys. All right, let's go see what it looks like in play. All right, let's see what we run into here. All right, 6 and Hedge Shredder will probably work okay. Let's see what happens here. All right, Rainveil Rejuvenator should be all right as well. Work here. Don't love that, but maybe we can deal with them pretty easily here. Okay, so there was one of the sneaky in there. All right, so we're making a ton of lands and put in a Blossoming Tortoise. Just keep doing this. Switch them out, put Ronus back in, and I don't know what's going on here, but let's check the battle log. Oh, Hedge Shredder is triggered. So that's what it is. So that is why this is happening. Okay. So we can just keep doing this for as long as we want. Put the Ronus back in. Okay, well, we could stop right here, But we still have to not now a bunch of times because we just put a bunch of stuff into the graveyard. And every time we put this guy back into play, it's going to bring that the human back in. And then we just have to hit not now until it stops doing this. And then hit the loop timer. Well, we hit the loop timer and it's still trying to resolve all of this stuff happening. But there we go. And now we have 179 cards in our graveyard. Well, that was annoying, but it's fine. Because what we're going to do here is try and just hit our... we didn't even create a rich soil token because we just clogged up our board, but we're going to hit those activated gems and all this stuff in our graveyard just completely buffs our creatures up to an insane amount. We just keep restoring our creature, or we just keep hitting those restore gems and buffing our creature up to this crazy amount. Wow, we cleared out almost all of the... Wow, we did actually clear out all of the Prowler gems there. Wow, and then we had a giant elemental stack as well. So there you have it. Now you see how and why the deck works the way it does. I'm looking forward to testing some more goofiness from this set and sharing with y'all. So hope to see you there and have a good one.